It isn't going to be the golden ticket that saves the movie business, but it could be a part of the equation. Welcome to the Cinema Gold Show. I am your host, Larry Lace. Today, we're diving into Let's Talk. And in this week's episode, we're discussing MoviePass might be just what the box office needs right now. Before we do that, we'd like to thank our sponsor, Poddex, for sponsoring this episode. What is Poddex, you ask? That is a great question. Poddex are unique interview questions and episode starting prompts in the palm of your hand. Whether you're a new podcaster or existing broadcaster looking to grow your audience and get more engagement, you're going to want to check out poddex.com. And hey, use the code Larry21 and you can save 10% off your order. Stay to the end of the episode and you can see how Poddex works in our Poddex segment. And now let's dive into today's topic. The movie-loving world got some interesting news at the start of the year when it was revealed that MoviePass would be coming back this summer. For those who don't recall, the movie subscription service allowed users to see up to one movie a day for $10 a month in many markets, with more expensive markets like New York and Los Angeles costing more. It had a meteoric rise and flamed out in truly dramatic fashion just a couple of years back. Now it's looking to re-emerge with an overhaul and some fancy new features. CEO Stacy Spikes revealed during a press conference back in February, laid out what we can expect. Vaguely anyway. There's no word on price, but users will be able to use credits to buy tickets for themselves and others. The credits don't expire and will roll over month to month. No word on pricing yet, but one has to assume it's going to be more than $10 a month. That having been said, if the pricing model is attractive and the sins of the past can be forgiven by the public, this could be just what the box office needs right now. 2020 absolutely crippled the box office on a global scale due to the pandemic and forced an era of rapid change, with Hollywood studios making big new releases readily available at home through premium VOD, along with nearly every studio in town doubling down on streaming while pivoting away from theatrical. "2021 brought with it a great deal of hope and a big slate of blockbusters to lure moviegoers back to a theater near them. To some degree, that worked as the box office recovered 91% when compared to 2020, but still fell well short where it was in 2019. When looking at things closely, especially as we watch things evolve throughout the first month and change of 2022, moviegoers are still pretty much only getting out of the house for a sure bet such as Spider-Man No Way Home, Scream, Jackass Forever, and more recently, The Batman. Even then, most movies that succeed on opening weekend suffer a plummet in weekend 2, signaling that the overall general movie-going audience is still a fraction of what it used to be. Only in the rarest of rare circumstances can a movie not connected to a franchise break through the noise and become a theatrical success. For the exhibition sector of the movie business to succeed, and for many kinds of movies to continue to exist, this needs to change, and it needs to change sooner rather than later." One of the most interesting remarks that Spikes made during his presentation was that, quote, "People didn't see MoviePass as a discount, they saw it as a discovery tool." Let us first make the point that people absolutely saw MoviePass as a discount, and that is what helped lead to the company's massive, spectacular fall from grace. That said, it also gave even more casual movie fans an excuse to see things they might not otherwise have seen. I myself saw movies in theaters that I most certainly would not have if the money were coming directly out of my pocket. But married to a subscription I already had, why not go see Action Point or Mile 22? I know that I was not alone in using MoviePass to explore different corners of cinema simply because I could. Simply because it hardly cost me anything to do so other than my time. MoviePass offered a whole lot of people the, quote, "because I can" excuse to go to the movies, which can often feel expensive and or like a pain in the ass if there is any other barrier to entry. MoviePass, when it was working, took down some of those barriers and opened the door for certain movies to get attention in theaters that they might not otherwise have received. That is what is needed most right now in the industry. Another thing to consider is that the pandemic irrevocably changed people's viewing habits. Watching stuff at home has become extremely easy, and most of us have big TVs with very nice sound systems. Now, as Ben Affleck recently pointed pointed out, while also explaining that he no longer wants to do IP-driven movies, if it suddenly becomes easier for people to revert back to the theatrical experience as part of their viewing habits, that might help turn the tide and give the box office another leg to stand on. MoviePass could be a big part of that, assuming this goes well and the business plan is more firmly in place this time around. Yes, but first and foremost, MoviePass lost a whole lot of trust with its customers towards the end of the flameout. The company had to file for bankruptcy as it was straight up bleeding cash. The desperation became public and obvious. People were having issues using their subscription. Suspicious charges were occurring, and ultimately investigations from the FTC, SEC, and others came into the picture. It was ugly, and the company's once loyal customers were burned in brutal fashion. And let us not forget the company's brief foray into making and distributing movies such as the truly disastrous Gotti. With that in mind, Spikes & Company have a lot of goodwill to earn back with the general public. Frankly, it's already not off to the best start. The CEO made comments about portions of the company being available to invest in, while putting forth few specifics, while announcing that users could earn credits by watching ads with the app tracking your eyeballs to make sure you watch the whole thing. There were some eyebrows raised and questions left hanging in the balance. This will surely be addressed ahead of the relaunch. But let's just say that out of the gate, people seem to be more cautious than optimistic, and for good reason. The other thing to consider is that MoviePass left a lasting legacy behind, in that theater chains picked up on this business model and opted to handle it themselves. AMC Stubs A-List is the most prominent example of a MoviePass clone operating today, as AMC is the largest chain in North America. And I, myself, can relate to Cinemark having a more modest version of a movie subscription, and prior to the pandemic, the Alamo Drafthouse had a pretty impressive one going. The problem is that these other subscriptions were limiting, and that they could only be used at those chains. Even still, the fact that the other options are already out there with a head start on MoviePass means they will be facing competition that didn't exist in the marketplace previously. Even so, MoviePass has a chance to reignite that fire that managed to get 3 million subscribers on board and excited about going to the movies as more than a once-in-a-while activity. It may never hit that same level of fever pitch again, but the box office needs innovation to help drive the recovery. Streaming alone has its pitfalls, and many of us value the theatrical experience beyond superhero movies and horror flicks. It isn't going to be the golden ticket that saves the movie business, but it could be a part of the equation. Let us know in the comments section below. Did you use MoviePass? Share with us some of your stories about it. What did you like about it? What did you not like about it? And don't forget to hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that bell notification button to be notified of future videos that we post. And as always, if you want to support the show, you can buy us a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/cinemagold. And now on to our segment, the Pod Deck segment. Today's question is, if you were perpetually surrounded by one aroma besides your natural smell, which you and everyone around you could smell, what would it be? That would be tough. Shoot, I have no idea. I can't. I'm gonna say the beach. I'm gonna pull a Seinfeld one and go to smell the beach. But hey, leave your answer in the comments section below, and you can be featured in the upcoming episode. Thanks so much for watching and listening, and we'll see you next time.